Hi, this is Stacy with Lily Bean Crafts by Stacy. Welcome back. And if it's your first time, thanks for stopping by. So I went live in my Lily Bean Crafters Community Facebook group and I made one of these dry erasers and I got a lot of response from it, so I figured I would turn it into a tutorial. So I am starting off with all the materials I need. I have this wood dry eraser that I got from Amazon that I will link in the description. I'm also using some acrylic paint, some glitter from Rae Creations, and an element sheet that I got from Gracefully Created. And I'm starting off by taking a 220 grit piece of sandpaper and just gently sanding this just to smooth it out, and then I'll go ahead and wipe it off and we'll get started. I wound up finding in my supply of acrylic paints this really light pink that worked perfectly to match the glitter that we have. And I'm just going to go ahead and use one of my little paintbrushes that I got from the dollar store, and I'm just going to go ahead and apply this. I really only needed one coat of this, so it did not take me but a couple minutes just to put this together. This entire dry eraser took me less than an hour to make, and it makes great teacher gifts or for people that work in offices, or basically anybody that has a dry eraser that just likes to do any erasing with it. So I'm just going to very carefully just apply this paint all over here, and then I'll set it off to the side and let it dry. So now that my paint is dry, I'm going to go ahead and use the UV resin that I get from Amazon that I always have linked in my description. And I'm going in with Smoothie, which is kind of like a mini chunky that I get from Rae Creation. And I'm just going to go ahead and mix them together with my little stir stick here, and then once I have it mixed up in the thickness that I liked, I'm just going to go ahead and put it right over the acrylic paint on the eraser and just kind of spread it out. Once again, you want to make sure that you have the room as dark as possible or have the blinds closed so that you're not getting the UV rays. That will start the drying process super fast. If you have the blinds closed, it'll allow you the time to spread this out and not having it all clump up on you. So once I have all of this glitter mixture spread out, I'm going to put it under my UV lamp for 2 minutes. And now that it's dry, I'm going to go ahead and lightly sand it with my 220 grit sanding block, just to make sure that I have it nice and smooth, so that when I go to put the next coat of just the UV resin on here, it will be nice and smooth for me to start applying the element sheets. And this is one of the element sheets that I got from Gracefully Created. I will go ahead and link it in the description, and I do have a discount code. If you like any of the ones that I've been using, the code that I have is LBC10 for you to save 10%. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut these out. There's 2 of them in particular that I'm going to use, and I'm just going to trim the florals down as closely as possible because there is going to be a little bit of transparent backing on here, but you won't be able to see that once I apply the UV resin. And here I'm just going to go ahead and test where I'm going to apply it. These florals are a little bit bigger than what I need for the erasers, but I like to trim them off and just have a portion of it on here. So I'm just kind of gauging where I want it to be. I really like when I'm doing these to have these end pieces of the floral with a lot of detailing to be like in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start applying this one, and then once I have it applied, I'll trim it off with my X-Acto knife and my scissors here, and then I'll save the rest of it, because with doing several of these erasers, it's really easy for you to use a lot of material because you don't need a lot. So I'll save the rest of this piece for another one that I'll make down the line, and then I'm just going to take an X-Acto knife and just trim off the rest of it, and then I'll start working on the other side. So now on the other side, I'm gonna move this one a little bit closer to the center. Once again, I really like the detail work with the outside pieces of the floral, so I'm gonna bring one as close to this other one as I possibly can while saving the rest of the floral design. And I'm gonna trim this piece off before I go ahead and start to apply it, and I'll put that off to the side, and then I'm going to go ahead and apply the rest of this the exact same way, and then I will trim it with my X-Acto knife. Because I don't own any finger cots, I am just going to take a piece of my glove and just trim it off, and then I'll put that on to apply my UV resin. I'm just going to go around here and just make sure that I like all the lines and just trim anything extra that I need to, and then I will take a little bit of my UV resin and put it on here and make sure that there are no bubbles and get it torched and get it dried. This is the point in time that if I was actually personalizing it for somebody, I would go ahead and put a name on here, doing with some kind of really cute font and some permanent vinyl. I'm not doing that, so I'm just going to go ahead and sand it one final time with my 220 grit piece of sandpaper here, sand it down really good. There was a little piece on the edge here that I wanted to trim up a little bit. A little bit of UV resin bled over, so I'm just going to go ahead and trim this up and clean it up. And then I'm going to add a little bit more paint to any places that seems like it just needed a little bit more. And then once I have that all cleaned up, I will dry off everything that I clean up with the sandpaper, put it off to the side, let the paint dry, let the sandpaper residue settle, and then I'm going to go in with my final coat of the UV resin. And here I am going in with my final coat of the resin. I'm going to make sure that I get that fully covered, taking a really good look at it to make sure that I pop any bubbles and make sure that there's no little flyaways of like hair or residue that is on there. And then once I have this completely cleaned up, I'm going to go ahead and pop those bubbles and get the final coats of the UV resin on here. There was a couple spots that I didn't like, so I decided to just go ahead and put just a little bit more of the UV resin on here and just make sure that I have it all smoothed out. So I'm going to go ahead and apply just a little bit more, pop those little bubbles, and then I'm going to get it torched. It probably took me like 5 minutes at the end. I did put it under my UV lamp for 2 minutes, and then I just put it on my windowsill and just let it completely dry for a couple minutes, and then it was all done. And here is what the final product looked like. It's so cute. It is such a great gift. Once again, it does not have to be for just a teacher, but it does make a great teacher gift. But anybody that uses dry erasers or anything like that, it makes a wonderful gift. And if you like this tutorial, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see everybody again next week. Bye-bye.